Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today's book review, this book review, because you'll see several today. This book review video is for Death of the Black Widow by James Patterson and J.D. Parker. Now, I have a habit of grabbing a book by a favorite author or series, and sometimes even recommendation without reading the blurb. This was the fact that it was an audiobook arc from Hachette Audio. They send me an email once a month with about 30 or 40 audiobook arcs, and I can take 1, 5, 10, or all 40, which of course I'm not going to do that, but I will go to Edelweiss where all the summaries and images are and choose the ones that I want. Just simply seeing James Patterson's name, I wrote it in my planner somewhere, which is, no, wrong planner. I have so many planners. When I was looking at the email, I went to Edelweiss and I started writing down books that looked like I would like to listen to them. So Death of the Black Widow was one of them, and it came out on April 19th. And it was 560 hardcover pages, so it's a hefty book. But the thing is, I want to just say something about Hachette Audio. The publicist tells us in each email that they're still working hard to get pre-publication arcs to us. But in most cases, they're always post-publication. So when you see me doing these audiobook reviews, like this is an audiobook review, then you're going to find that the books are already released. So it's still an arc to me because it was a reader's copy that I received for the just for the sake of reviewing it. Now, I do want to run over to Audible because I didn't write down the narrator's name, and I want to get that to you. Death of... I can't type. There we go. All right, so I just wanted to get the narrator's name. Okay, so what is Death of the Black Widow about? First of all, most of us know the meaning behind the name Black Widow. A Black Widow spider is known to eat its mate after mating. Black Widow male and female spiders meet for one reason and pretty much one time only, and that is to mate, and then once they mate, he's out of there. Okay, so what is this book by Patterson? Okay, we're going to start off by reading the blurb. Oh, by the way, anybody familiar with James Patterson knows that he co-writes tons and tons and tons of his books. This particular writer is J.D. Parker, co-writer. Now, I haven't read anything by J.D. Parker before, but once I looked him up, I realized he is a horror author. I don't read horror, but guess what? I did today, or not today, this week, because I read Death of the Black Widow, which in all for all intents and purposes is horror. As a matter of fact, let's go to NetGalley and see what NetGalley calls it. Whoops, I almost had it. Yeah, one thing you're going to find with me is I don't have I don't have a formal professional air to my channel. I just have me. So you're going to see me go to my devices. You're going to see me look down at my notes. I just want to see, okay, NetGalley calls it mystery and thrillers, but your girl here, Rob, is going to call it a horror, because that's what it felt like to me. Why? Okay, let's read the blurb. 4 minutes and 35 seconds in, and I haven't even read the blurb. She destroys the men she loves and escapes every time. The most dangerous killer James Patterson has ever created is his most seductive. On his first night with Detroit PD, Officer Walter O'Brien is called to a murder scene. A terrified 20-year-old has bludgeoned her kidnapper with skill that shocks even O'Brien's veteran's partner. The young woman is also a brilliant escape artist. I'm sorry, I was moving my coffee from the cat. A brilliant escape artist. Her bold flight from police custody makes the case impossible to solve, and for Walter, even more impossible to forget. By the time Walter's promoted to detective, his fascination with the missing gray-eyed woman is approaching obsession. And when Walter discovers that he's not alone in his search, one truth is certain. This deadly sting of secrets didn't begin in his home city, but he's going to make sure it ends there. Now, this book spans 35 years in Walter O'Brien's career. As mentioned, he starts off as on his first night with the Detroit PD, you know, as a beat officer, patrol officer, and then over the years, he makes advancement in the police department. But the case that never lets go of him is this unique killer. We have a killer who is very, very crafty. Now, it doesn't take long for the reader to know that this killer is a woman, and this woman is brutal, and she's uncaught. Decades. Now, why did I say this book is a horror? Because this creature is a Black Widow monster. Yeah. I loved the book though. And as I started to mention, it was an audiobook arc, and the narrator is Ryan Vincent Anderson, and it was a 12-hour and 13-minute narration. I'm just going to go to Audible to see. I don't think I've ever. Okay, he has done a couple of the Alex Cross books, so I have heard his voice before, but I didn't recognize it because I listen to so many audiobooks. So now we have this supernatural book here, okay? We have a Black Widow type of monster who preys mostly on men for whatever reason that she finds necessary. Her MO is creepy. Yeah, creepy. There's something that she does that I'm vacillating whether or not I should share, but I won't do that. But she has a certain thing that she does so that when the police go to the murder scene, or the crime scene, there's something very specific about the victims. And that's why I hesitated, because I don't think I'm going to share that in this video. Now, you had the narrator, and I'm telling you, yes, a narrator can make or break a book. Well, our narrator did not disappoint. He made this book. As a matter of fact, 12 hours at 2 speed was about 6 hours or 6.5 hours or something along that line. But it was completely addictive. It was very enjoyable, an easy ride. And I loved, you know, when you have a single narrator, be it male or be it female, and then you have characters, be them male or female, then the narrator has to change his intonations to make his voice fit that character. This guy did a pretty good job. He did a pretty good job. Now, one thing that this book did that made you understand how crafty our murderess is there was a scene where she was in a police car and she's talking to the cop and he starts telling her something and he lets a fact slip out about a murder and she's like, I'm gonna be sick, I'm gonna be sick, I'm gonna be sick. Now imagine you got a guy narrating this and using the female voice, or, you know, softening his voice. Well, this was the first time you see how good and creative this woman was and how she got away from the cops. I loved it. I loved it. Now, we know that James Patterson has solo works like Alex Cross and certain other books that he writes. some of his middle grade. But he has lots and lots of co-writing books with other authors. And I love his stuff. I love his stuff. Does James Patterson generally write horror? I don't really know, because I don't read horror, so I don't really know a lot of the horror authors. But if I could read a book this good that fits that genre, hey, I'm there for it. You know, then you have our character, Walter O'Brien, as a detective. Are you thinking, is he going to be an Alex Cross? Is he going to be a Michael Bennett? What kind of detective is he going to be? I even liked seeing how different of a detective Alex Cross could write along with J.D. Barker. So I love the book. That's all I can say on it. Like I said, it came out on the 19th. You can get it at the Kindle store for $11.99, or if you have Audible, you can get it as an Audible credit. For the heck of it, let's just go see if we can get this at a library. We're just going to find out, because I like to let my watchers know where they can get the books. And yes, you can get it for Overdrive if there's a wait list, but let's try Hoopla, because Hoopla never has a wait list, but Hoopla doesn't have as vast a library, but we're going to find out. Death of the Blood. Black Widow. I said if, we need to say of. No. So if you want it from your library, go ahead and put it in. Get on the wait list for it, because it's not available on Hoopla yet. I won't say that it will not ever be on Hoopla. We're going to look up J.D. Barker, our other author. Yeah, a lot of J.D. Barker's books are right there on Hoopla, so you might eventually get this on Hoopla as well. Will I read anything by Barker if I haven't already said that? Probably not, because I don't like horror. But I love this one, and I hope you like it too. Bye-bye.